Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Lead Nudge. I am Silvia, your inclusive leadership mentor. I want to talk about a very delicate topic today that is around decision fatigue and why this is so important as a leader to be able to make good choices without feeling overwhelmed. There's an interesting data point from the Gallup Global Workplace Report from last year that showed that manager engagement fell from 30% to 27%. And that for me is a clear signal that manager overload is a real issue. It's not that people are tired, it's that there is the amount of decisions and the amount of overload that managers are getting is so much. So I wanted to take an example and to share a bit of my experience around this topic that can hopefully help you to learn from my mirror and to do something to avoid this overwhelm and overload. Let me share a little bit of my own experience with this. When I was leading an NGO as a board member, I was the sponsor, the main lead sponsor for the annual conference that we were planning. And even though the conference ended up being great, I had so much fun and everybody loved it. We had more than 250 attendees. The planning phase, when I think about the planning phase and everything that went through it, it was so much work and so draining. I cannot think of another project that drained me as much as this, not at the moment. And why this matters is because decision fatigue is one of these hidden drains as management. Whenever we start getting additional responsibilities, everything feels like a decision. Every small choice that we need to, or that needs to be made, can start to feel heavy, and it compounds, right? It's not that it's only about one small thing. It's a small thing over a small thing over a small thing that turns into being an overload. And the result of that as an individual is that we get to do slower decisions because our brains are tired from making many smaller decisions. So we make slower decisions. We have shorter patience. I remember in that project being very short, with very short patience. And it really pushes us to be a lot more second guessing ourselves, to be less confident to the decisions that we make, because we make them so often that our brains start giving us doubts about whether we're going in the right direction. And this why this matters is because making decisions in the right way is one of those leadership habits that can improve our performance as a leader, but also the relationships that we have with our team members. I know that my leadership style is to empower others. So you can imagine how draining it was to be involved in every single decision from this conference, from picking the venue to the menu that we were going to give, to seeking the sponsors, to deciding what was the best speaker, to decide on branding. Everything while keeping my volunteer team motivated and engaged and wanting to keep moving forward. So this is what I wish I would have done differently. And hopefully this helps you if you are in this moment feeling with decision fatigue, or if you know you can get further in the year with this type of habit. So number one, I wish I would have pre-decided my defaults. I wish I would have had chosen simpler rules, like what are some of the meeting length, what counts as urgent, who makes expected decisions, or what is, for example, this is so important, what is the expected response time. Some people were expecting immediate responses from me while I was volunteer and working a 9 to 5. So that by having this, let's say, default or predefine what is default, then it reduces the amount of micro decisions that we make every day and multiple times a day. So that's one thing I wish I would have done differently. Second thing, I wish I would have created decision lanes. I wish I would have shared with my team what are some of the decisions that I was gonna make, and what are some of the things that they were gonna make, and what are some of the things that other board members were gonna make. So I wish I would have done that, and that I would have written that down in very simple language, in kind of like a one-pager document stating who has decision rights over specific parts of the project. And step number 3 is to reinforce the lanes in the moment, right? So if I was getting approached, or if people were expecting certain things, even if I already shared that they were allowed to make these decisions, or that I was expecting them to make these decisions, then making sure that I reinforce that expectations, and that I make that clear that they can go ahead and make a decision, and we will discuss whenever time's due, but not necessarily for me to be aware every single time that that decision was being made. Now, something that I want you to remember is that by keeping the decisions lane in your head, that's not gonna help, right? If it's not written down, that doesn't reduce the cognitive load, which is what causes the decision fatigue. That sense of your brain needs to be on all the time, it's what's causing you to be having that sense of overwhelm, and it's because your brain is overwhelmed. So I hope this experience that I share is helpful. These are just 3 examples in 3 small steps that you can go ahead and start practicing. And these are the things that I wish I would have done differently. With that, lead as you are, with courage, inclusion, and heart, you all.